Well, there is some real confusion as to what is the real price. Now, the National Association of Realtors came out this morning and said the US has hit a median price, record price across the United States. I don't think that's the case. I've looked at their data as a member of the Board of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. They sent me the data. We're going to look at their data today and see what it is. I'm not quite sure what the charts are. I, of course, use the Federal Reserve electronic data system, which gets a lot of its data from Realtor.com. So, National Association of Realtors and Realtor.com, the Federal Reserve electronic data, these are pretty authoritative settings, but I don't think that we set a record. So I could be wrong. If you know differently than me, and you can send me the data, we'll take a look at it. Our data shows that we're bumping along, and all the things that we're looking at are telling us that we are probably heading down. I've been in business a long time. This will be the third cycle completion I've been through. They all basically, they're all the same with a little bit of difference, so they look pretty much the same. If you follow my other videos, you're going to know our thinking. And if you like our other videos, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe. Oh my gosh, does that help the channel? It's just unbelievable. And we have a mission to try and bring you as good a data as we possibly can so you can make a decision. I've got an input, my input though is different than yours. So I represent clients, we represent investments. So we're there to make money. That's our prime focus, is to make a return on our investments. Now we offer a service. We do a very good job. We provide a very good product, and people rent it from us. If they didn't like it, they wouldn't rent it. So that's the trade-off we have. But we are there for capital. So we're just like putting money in a savings account and getting a return. That's our job. And we do that when it's favorable. Right at the moment, we don't think it's favorable. Now, if you're buying a new home, say you move from Dallas to Phoenix, well, you probably need a house. Then you just do the best that you possibly can. And if you sold your house in Dallas, well, okay, you've got seasoned money that went up in value, and you're buying homes that went up in value, so they kind of wash each other out. It's the first-time home buyers that really that have to really pay attention, where they haven't had any seasoning. They haven't had a investment property or a property go up in value, and they may be buying at the peak of the market. That's my concern, is because if you buy at the peak and it drops on you, it can take you a very, very long time to recover. Let me go to my next slide here, and let's just take a look at what we have. Now, this is coming out of National Association of Realtors. I just got this, and what we're looking at here is total sales. Now, this goes hand in hand with the fact that I think that we're going to be looking at a much slower market. Now, you can see here in 2021, when we were at the peak of the market, how we had 6,600,000 sales, which is great. This also coincides with peak 1 and peak 2. You can clearly see them even in the sales. But peak 1 came in 2021 at 6,600,000. Peak 2 came in at 6,430,000. And we're down to 4,100,000. So we're down 2 million sales across the country. This is terrible business for us. This is really bad business for us. This is tough business. So it just, when we have this small of a sales, a lot of title companies are geared up for, because we're down 30%. 35% just in sales. So if you're in a real estate business and 35% of your business goes away, that's a pretty tough sales. And you can clearly see the decline. And of course, we've talked about that in our prior videos. Please go take a look at them. Higher interest rates. We have war notices in every state in the union. We're starting to see a manufacturing slowdown across. Chicago PMI is at 37. That's not recessionary. It's depressionary. I mean, that's just very, very bad. So it's reflecting. You can certainly see that in the sales. So let me go to my next slide, and let's see if we can talk about this. Now, here's the National Association of Realtors. This is their sales price. They calling it the median. I don't know where this data is coming from. I don't know what its median. We're going to talk about it a little bit. You can clearly see that they're talking about 419,300, and on this chart, it certainly would be a record because I don't see a higher number here at all. Let me go to the next slide. Again, they're talking about existing home sales price and median price percentage change. On their charts, it would look fairly rosy, a 5.8%. I'd love that. You put 20% down and get a 5.8% kick. You're looking at almost 30% return just on your down payment. It's a pretty healthy return. That's a very nice thing to have. So when we put 20% down and you get like a 4% return, that's 20% on your money. It's math. So to get 5 or almost 6, you're looking at 30% return on 20% down. Fabulous. That's the secret in real estate is that it's leverage. It can go against you, which is what we're concerned about. Is that if you put, particularly to home buyers, and just think. So if you put like 3.8% down as an FHA and you get a 5.8%, you've made 150% on your money. Now, if you put 3.8% down and it goes down 5.8%, well, you've lost 150% on your money. So this is just what we're concerned about because we're very concerned about timing. Let me go to my next slide here and let's just take a look at this. Now, here's the data we're talking about. I want you to take a look at this. So right here, Q1 2024, median sales price of homes sold in the United States, Federal Reserve electronic data, median sales price of houses sold for the United States in Q1. Look, we haven't finished Q2 yet, so this is really, really good data. It came in at $420,800. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you go into the data, you guys can do this. Now, this is just the chart. It goes all the way back to 1964, 63. Q4 of 2022 came in at 442,600. That was peak 1, 442. And in Q1, it was 420,800. So it's down $22,000. So what? That's what 5%. It's down 5% from the peak. Not a lot, but it is down. And I wanted to draw this to your attention here. Now, these are the two peaks during the Great Financial Crisis. This is 2006 and 2007. Now, in this cycle, peak number 2 is actually higher than peak number 1. So it's possible we get another chart. We could get another pop. That's possible, but we're not going to get a lot. And the risk here is to the downside. So that's my concern. My concern is the risk is to the downside. So you're a first-time home buyer and you put 20% down. So you buy a $400,000 property, you put 20% down. That is a huge amount of money for a lot of people. It's $80,000, and it drops 10%. So it goes down from 400 to 360. Well, you've lost 50% of your down payment. 50%. Could that happen? Absolutely, positively. Now, what if you're an FHA buyer? You only put, let's say you put 5% down. So 5% of 400,000 is 20. It goes down 10%, goes down 40,000. You've lost double your down payment. That's leverage for you. Now, it works great on the way up. This is just great fun on the way up, but it's kind of tough on the way down. So let me go to my next slide and let's just take a look at what we're talking about here. So this is coming again out of the National Association of Realtors. It's showing the average price. And what we're seeing is that the average prices, we are getting a lot more $1 million sales than we are in low sales. First off, there's more $1 million homes, so prices have gone up. So you're going to be paying a lot higher prices for things. And when we have interest rates go down or go up, the more affluent buyers are less impacted by interest rates. If the house goes up $400 or $500 and you're making a lot of money, okay, who wants to pay an extra $400 or $500 a month? But it's not the end of the world. Now, if you're just barely getting by, if you're a first-time home buyer, it goes up $400 or $500. Well, sometimes that's the difference between getting a place and not getting a place. So that's why the lower end is probably not doing as well as the upper end. And the upper end, of course, drags everything up. That's just part of the math. And that's why we use the median, because that's where everything's being done. But it really, really affects anything that's done on the average. So, and we're trying not to use anything that's seasonally adjusted as well. Let me just go to my next slide, and let's just let me switch slide. Here we go. And let's go to the next slide. Now, this is telling. Now, this is Phoenix, Arizona. This is done by John Wake here at Arizona Real Estate Notebook. And you can see here at May 2022, this is coming right out of our armless data. So 475 peaked at May of 2022 at 475. And we just had a pretty good spring, and it came up to $450,000 for our April, which is the last one we've got. We haven't gotten May in yet, but it's April. I don't think it's going to pop all the way up to the first peak. Now, let's take this green and ride it back down. This is a great financial crisis. I want you to look at this. So this is John Wake did a fabulous job of putting in together all this data. Right here was the first peak. Now, this was in 2000, late 2005, heading in 2006. This is where the sales were just crazy. Now, there were sales over here, but not many. So prices were still elevated, but there wasn't any momentum. The momentum here was just phenomenal. Look at this explosive phase just going up like crazy, just exploded up, and then it stopped. It just literally, I was here, it just stopped. And then it slowed down a lot. And this is just where we were at. And we bounced along here for a good 2 years before we rolled over. And then we rolled over and we came down really, really hard. I mean, we really came down. But you can see there actually were 3 peaks on this in this local regional data. So, and that's possible. Nothing says that it has to be 2. Sometimes it could be 3. Most of the time, though, it is 2 peaks. But you can compare that to this one. You can see where it's a process and it's finishing. And when I say that there's less sales, you can see that. You can see that in the National Association of Realtors. It's down. The sales are down 30%, just like they were during the Great Financial Crisis. This is mimicking the Great Financial Crisis. So this is just like 2008. The sellers haven't gotten the notice yet that the prices are coming down, and there are fewer and fewer and fewer sales. Let me go back to John Wake's data, and let's just look at the listings. So I'm going to tell you, see this red line here? I was here for this. Right at the bottom, there were 2,960 homes for sale in March of 2005, right here. March of 2005, 2,960 homes for sale. Let's take this red line and go 1 year later, right here. 12 months from here, there were 33,000 properties for sale in 12 months. Went up 30,000 properties. And then, of course, it went all the way up here to like 54, 55, 60,000 homes for sale. And it caused this, you see where it peaked, and it just had this avalanche of prices. So that's what I think we have a very, very good possibility of having again is a avalanche, and that would be a typical completion of the cycle. We've been telling you about this. So we feel there's a lot of jeopardy in the marketplace. I don't believe we've had a median home prices at a record. I don't see that. So if you can send me the data, I changed my mind. I don't know what data that is. So by the NAR's data, it looks like it certainly has. But when you go into the Federal Reserve electronic data, which is what I've been using, which we used last time to project what was going to happen, I don't see that. So this is where we are at. Let me go to my next slide here. That is me. So we would love your business if we can help in any way. We'd certainly love you to call us. Let's book an appointment to get together, see how we fit together. If we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us, we expect that we're going to have really a life-changing buying opportunity coming. We tell you to be careful. We want you to be very cautious in your buys. Get out of debt, save as much money as you can, make sure your job is secure, because we are going to make a fortune when it comes. My very best, you guys. Leave me some comments. Bye-bye now.